Hi everyone, it's Fangirl Hell. This is our fifth episode. This is going to be our November month in review. I think we're doing it every 2 months now, just because. My name's Christy Lee Stewart. I'm a future meth user, and as always, my co-host is.
Cosmic lifelong nerd, aspiring genius, and exhausted from a day-long concert.
So, you did something special yesterday. Why don't you tell everybody?
I went to an outdoor concert called Next Big Thing that's put on by a local radio station called 97X and saw a bunch of bands. I got there about like when it was already halfway through, but that's mostly because the first few bands I'd never heard of. But I saw Of Monsters and Men, Fun, Silver Sun Pickups, Bush, and Rise Against. I wanted to see Group Love, but they were playing as I was walking to the venue, so I could hear them, but I didn't get to see them because it was in downtown St. Pete in Vinoy Park, and the only parking
Well,
garage
you
is.
say that like anybody knows where that is.
I can put up a picture of a map in the video, Christy. St.
Nobody gives a shit.
St. Pete is near Tampa.
Florida.
Yes, in Florida, near Tampa,
Like you
Florida.
didn't even specify that. I'm from California, and I can tell you, nobody gives a shit where it is.
It was in St. Petersburg and near Tampa, Florida, in Vinoy Park, which is like right near the beach, actually. So we could see the ocean.
Oh,
But the only parking garages are about like a 25 to 30-minute walk away from Vinoy Park. So we parked and then we walked. And we could hear Group Love playing the entire time we were walking because it was echoing around from all the buildings. But by the time we got there, they had finished. And so we waited around. Oh, we saw Flogging Molly actually first, and then it was Of Monsters and Men, and then all the other ones. So yeah,
okay. Well, Bush though, because
yeah,
Bush is the one that I would have gone for. Did they play any of their old,
yeah.
actually good songs?
They played from memory.
Okay.
They played Come Down. They played Machine Head.
Okay.
Everything Zen. Chemicals Between Us. I think.
Yeah.
And then they played like some newer songs, Sound of Winter, Little Things, and some other ones, but I don't remember what they were. They did not play Glycerine, which I was waiting for it. I was waiting for
Really?
it and waiting for it, and they didn't do it.
Oh, forget that then.
I know. I was like, they have to play it, right? They have to play it. And then it came to like the last song, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be it. And nope, it was I think it was Come Down was the last song.
Well, at least they played old ones. I thought it was going to be
Yeah.
like, like a Madonna concert where she just talks about people she hates and just sings new songs nobody cares about.
Well, in when like a big festival concert like that, like especially with more established bands that are playing, they tend to play a lot of their singles
Yeah.
and like some old, new. So it was a mixture. And Rise Against came on after them. They were really good too, but I was about 2 rows separated from the mosh pit, so there was a lot of like pushing back and forth.
Oh, that sucks.
And I occasionally, not always, but occasionally get a little claustrophobic panic attacky in large crowds of people. So I managed to hold it together though.
Well, did you punch anybody or anything?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, it sounds like you had a good day yesterday. I think yeah, I read comic books all day.
Yeah.
So,
After the concert ended, probably around like 11, maybe a little after 11. And then we got back to the parking garage we were looking for sometime around midnight. And then we were like, well, we couldn't find the elevator in the parking lot, and we were on the 8th floor. So we just started walking the stairs, and on the 3rd level, we saw a security guard, and we were like, is there an elevator? And he pointed us to the direction of the elevator, so
crisis averted.
yeah. And then we drove and drove and drove and stopped at Denny's to eat, and we had like dirt all under our fingernails and like a layer of dirt on our faces.
That's like the only time to go to Denny's, though. That's like when you go to Denny's, it's always like a last resort, and you're
Yeah.
not fit for, public consumption.
We went to a Denny's that's actually right by the college that my sister went to.
Oh,
So it was just us and a bunch of like university students
yeah.
in pajamas. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah.
So, wait, do you want to start with TV shows, movies, or other?
Well, I guess movies, that's usually what we do first.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. I know you haven't seen any movies this month. I also haven't seen any movies this month.
Yeah.
But I do have like a little bit of movie news of like upcoming movie news.
Okay.
Okay, so did you know they're doing a Justice League movie?
I did not, but I read about this on your Tumblr, and I read about the thing I think you're going to talk about on another website as well.
Okay, so Justice League, and we mostly talk about Marvel here because you don't know comic books and I'm like Marvel girl,
Okay.
not Jean Grey, just like I'm a Marvel fan. So, for those of you who may not know, Justice League is like DC's Avengers. So I think it's kind of funny that they're waiting until what is it, 2015 to come out with their version of the Avengers when Avengers 2 comes out. I mean, DC is known for being really shitty and fucking over their fans, but you're gonna wait that long to come out with the competition for Avengers? It just seems silly to me. I don't think anyone's gonna care, but they're gonna have a huge cast of you're gonna have Superman and Wonder Woman, whoever are gonna play those roles. Green Lantern, of course, is played by Ryan Reynolds, which I said on Tumblr I think is ridiculous because he's gonna play Deadpool in Deadpool's personal movie a year before, so everyone's just gonna see him as Deadpool.
If that movie even comes out in 2014.
Oh, you can't say that to me.
Well,
It has to.
I think I read like 4 months ago, maybe on Wikipedia, that it was supposed to come out in 2013, and then obviously it's been moved to 2014. So,
Well, because it's gone under rewrites again. I'm trying to hold
see,
up hope. I'm gonna die. You can't do that to me. So, yeah, the big news that just came out is that they were like, "Oh, who's gonna play Batman?" Of course, you read the news. I can't pronounce his name, so you say it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, Joseph Gordon-Levi's, as I say in my
Love
head,
it.
and is the reason I can't say it out loud. So,
Just say Jogo.
Joga. Oh, that's terrible. I would rather not.
Or you could say JGL.
I would fuck that up.
You can't say any of his names right.
No, I can say Joseph. I'll act like I'm really close to him. I'm like, oh yeah, Joseph.
No, you gotta call him Joe. Joe.
Oh, okay. Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on that as someone who doesn't really have much invested emotion?
I have a hard time seeing him as Batman. Like, I don't. I watched some of the Batman movies from when I was a kid, the ones that everybody apparently thinks is awful.
Which one?
The one with like Penguin and I had a Batgirl and those.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
Oh man, the back.
Catwoman.
The one with Catwoman was good.
Okay.
Most people think that's good. So.
Okay. So yeah, I remember watching those as a kid, and I saw the second Dark Knight movie with the Joker, and based on a compilation of those two things, like in my mind, like Batman is like really serious and slightly mean, and I don't get that from Joseph Gordon-Levitt like at all. He just seems too nice of a person to pull off Batman to me.
Yeah, well, I've seen him in roles where he's not nice, but he certainly doesn't come up as that, Batman
Like,
gruff.
cause Batman is Bruce Wayne, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He's like a rich billionaire businessman, right? So
yeah.
I don't get that vibe from Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, he's a good actor. He could probably pull it off, but it's going to be a question of whether or not the audience can, what's it called?
Believe it?
Suspend their disbelief.
Okay, well, that's completely true. If the issue was, can he play Batman? I would say no, he can't play Batman. He's just not Batman. He won't fit as Batman. But because they're getting him to play Batman, everyone's pretty sure that this is going to be in the universe of Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, which is the Batman that he's playing is not the original Batman. He's Robin,
Yeah.
who
See,
becomes
now,
Batman.
from what I remember of Robin, because I actually used to watch the old, like, I guess it was from the 60s, the Batman TV show.
Wait, the live action one?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, okay.
Yeah. I used to watch that when I was a kid. Me and my sister both used to watch that when we were kids.
You have a skewed idea of what Batman is. That's not really Batman.
So I used to watch the like the 60s live action Batman. I watched the 90s movies when I was a kid, and I've seen like one of the newer Batman movies. And the newer Batman movie doesn't have Robin in it, so we can forget that. But the Robins that I've seen
Well,
in
yeah,
those
well,
things,
kinda, because the newest one they have Robin, but he
well, but I haven't seen that one. I only saw the second one with the Joker.
okay. Well, I mean, he plays Robin in it, but he's not like the comic Robin. He's a cop who, when Batman, you know, quote unquote dies because he doesn't really die. Spoiler alert. Says, okay, well, I'm going to be new to Batman. You can call me Robin.
Yeah. But from what I personally seen of other people who have played Robin in the past and how they've played Robin, I can see Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Robin, but I
Yeah.
cannot see him as Batman.
Well, yeah, but again, it's going to be it's not.
I know,
He's
I
not going to
know,
be. He's not
I
going to be.
know,
He's going
but
to be Batman too.
I
So it's
know,
not.
but
It's
it's
going to
just
be
it's not what I've come to expect of Batman. Like
no, yeah.
I no.
But this is
It,
going to be like a whole new Batman that no one's
so
ever met
in
before. It's not original Batman who's had his parents die and is super rich. This is Batman 2. Robin is sad.
why why do you think they didn't just make Joseph Gordon-Levitt Nightwing? Do you think it's because it's not a well-known enough character? Like even people who
Yeah,
don't read comic books, they know who Batman is. But
yeah.
most
And
people,
they know who Robin is. I
yeah,
think yeah, because he didn't come out and say I'm taking over Batman. He just kind of it was a scene where he shows like his ID to someone and
uh-huh.
she goes, "Oh, I really like your name. You should go by it instead of your surname or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." And she then says his name's Robin. And that's all it said. That's the end of the movie. And then the whole audience is like, "Oh, you couldn't get that if he was like, yeah, call me Nightwing." Unless you know the comics, it would be, well, I don't get it. I don't get it.
But you said that like Robin becomes Nightwing, right? So they still
Yeah.
could have said that his name was Robin and then just make him Nightwing in the next movie.
Well, yeah, I mean that could have been the intention if they were going to make another movie, which they're not,
Mm,
of Batman, I mean, in that,
yeah.
instance. But it just struck me as funny that this is their big movieverse debut for
Hmm.
this new generation for DC fans,
Yeah.
and they're already diverting it so much from canon. So the movieverse is going to be completely different from the comic book, and that's going to be really hard to transition new fans. Because with the Avengers, I mean, it diverted from canon, but not so terribly, I think. So they were able to transition people into, oh, you like the movie? We'll read some of these comic books. We go into the stories a little bit more. Well, you're not going to be able to do that with this Justice League because it's going to make no sense.
So if Joseph Gordon-Levitt does play Batman in this Justice League movie, I'm trying to imagine him putting on that really gruff Batman voice, and I can't imagine.
Oh, I would hope that he wouldn't even try.
What is with that grovelly? I'm the Batman. Like, come on,
I
that
know.
was so ridiculous. I understand, like maybe to a slight extent, trying to disguise your voice so nobody will recognize you by your voice, but that was ridiculous.
I know he might as well have gone in a falsetto. Like it would have
Hi,
made as much sense.
Batman.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just
Why
terrible.
stop there? Put on like a Spanish accent. Yo soy Batman.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure he knows other languages, right? That would have been smart.
Okay.
So, screw DC, we're done with DC. Let's talk about Marvel again. So, First Class, the second First Class, they haven't started filming yet, so of course we still get all the goodies of who's going to be in it. And it's revealed recently that because First Class takes place back when the X-Men first formed, so you have like young Professor X and Magneto,
Yeah.
as opposed to the original, well, kind of, well, yeah, I guess it would be the original movie trilogy where they're old.
The future past movie version.
Yeah. So in this First Class second, it's based off of this two-issue arc that took place, I think, in the 80s called Days of Future Past.
Ah! Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's why I stuttered because I was like, is she referring to that? Uh, so it has to do with time travel and like, of course it's confusing. Time travel is confusing. Why even go into it? But
All those
because time
paradoxes.
yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do for the movie, but we'll see. So it was revealed that the older actors that play Professor X, Magneto, are going to be in this movie. So you're going to have like a meetup of the young couple versus the old couple together. So of course fangirls are really, really excited.
They could be swingers and swap.
Well, it kind of count. It's like that old debate: if you have sex with yourself, is it masturbation or incest, or does it not count?
And they're time traveling swingers who sleep with themselves.
I like that. Like that. And that's going to be, I think, the majority of the fanfic. Did you have anything on movies?
I did watch one movie, but it's an old movie, so.
What movie did you watch?
District 9.
Oh, did you like it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great movie. I was really surprised because, I'm not really into sci-fi, but we went anyway for some reason. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a good movie.
Yeah. It did one of the things that I think sci-fi is really good at that I think a lot of people who dismiss sci-fi don't realize, but it was a social commentary basically on, discrimination and apartheid basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I really liked. I think that's the reason why I actually went to the theater to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so TV shows. You go, quick, go.
Wait, what? Me? Um, well, um,
Did you watch TV?
yes. American Horror Story Asylum.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying it. Like, some parts of it are extremely disturbing, and this last episode was like
I haven't
crazy.
seen it yet.
So much stuff happened.
You can't say anything.
Crazy.
Oh.
You need to watch it. Oh my god, it was crazy.
I'm still waiting for you to watch the first season. I don't know how you can watch this and not say, oh my god, the first season must be great too. I have to watch it.
I don't know. Yeah, this last episode. Oh, I want to talk about it so bad.
Too bad I haven't seen it yet. I got busy.
Something blank ends up in blank, and
This sounds sexy.
well, actually, blank gets blank and meets up with blank, who's really scary, so they blank, and
this still sounds really sexy.
And then they end up back in blank.
Okay. Okay. This is gonna be the best podcast ever.
I have no problem spoiling this for the listeners, but I don't want to spoil it for you.
I refuse to let you spoil it for me. Talk about what's gone on up until.
Oh, and blank attacks blank and gets out of blank. Are you there?
Yes, I'm still not listening.
Oh, it was really good. You gotta watch it.
This is a month in review, so we can talk about the show.
Okay. The Walking Dead.
I'm stuffed watching it.
You did. The most recent episode was really disturbing. You know the those people who have like a little town set up with the governor?
Yeah.
Okay. Merle, who is Daryl's brother.
Yeah.
Okay. He encounters Glenn and Maggie when they go into a town to like raid I guess like a drugstore to get formula for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he recognizes Glenn, and he basically, tells Glenn, well, is my brother alive? Take me to him. And Glenn obviously doesn't trust Merle. So he says, you just stay here and we will go get him and bring your brother to you. We're not that far away. And this whole time that this little showdown is happening, Michonne is hiding behind a car and watching it. And in the end, Merle ends up he grabs Maggie and holds his knife hand to her throat. And basically he takes Glenn and Maggie back to the town where the governor is. And they have them in separate rooms. And Merle is interrogating Glenn, trying to get Glenn to tell him where his group is. And he's savagely beating Glenn, just beating him to a pulp. He's bloodied. And eventually Merle leaves the room and then comes back a little later with a walker and puts the walker into the room with Glenn and shuts the door. And so Glenn's like trying to bang against the walls to break the chair that he's duct taped to. And finally he breaks it enough to where like there's like a sharp piece of wood and he kills the walker. And then he's just like sitting in there. And Merle when he's outside of the room, he goes and talks to the governor and says that, Glenn didn't give anything up. And the governor asks, well, what about the girl? And Merle says that was about to go talk to her. And the governor says, let me take care of it. So the governor walks in and Maggie's hands are behind her back, like duct taped together. So he walks in and he cuts the duct tape. And then he pulls a chair out from a table that's across from the table she's sitting at. And he goes, may I? Like he's trying to be all polite and stuff. So he starts asking her, just politely, I guess, to tell him where their group is, and she refuses. So he basically tells her, take off your shirt.
Oh.
And so she takes off her shirt, and she still has her bra on. And he's like, keep going. So she takes her bra off, and she's like cupping her hands over her chest. And then the governor comes up behind her and he's like stroking her chin and stuff. And he grabs the back of her neck and like bends her over the table. And I was like, oh God, please don't do this. Please don't. And like, it really looks like he's about to sexually assault her.
Yeah.
And then he stops. And it's like, okay, he was doing that to get into her head. And she didn't break, which... Oh gosh. I can't say I would do the same in her situation. I probably would like, they're in the prison!
Yeah.
And then after that, like, he takes her back into the room with Glenn, and you can see, like, when Glenn sees her and sees the state she's in, you can tell he's, like, boiling, and he's about ready to go off on someone. And they're, like, saying, still trying to get them to tell them where they are. And eventually, like, one of the people, like, puts a gun to Glenn's head, and that's when Maggie breaks, and she tells them, we're in the prison, and blah, blah, and all this stuff. And while that's happening, the other group, Glenn's group, is making their way to this town because Michonne has found Glenn's group and told them where they are and what happened. It was good.
Is the governor supposed to be like a completely evil character, or is he supposed to have some redeeming qualities?
So far, he seems pretty evil to me. I mean, let's see. Well, I don't know. He has a zombie daughter that he keeps locked away, but like eerily combs her hair every now and then. And he basically sends like these roving troops out to kill people that aren't part of their group, which is weird. So, I don't know. I think he seems pretty evil to me.
It strikes me as weird that they would do something so sexually explicit and then just have him stop. It seems like, unless they're going to have him, like, have some sort of humanity to him where he's, has these impulses and then tries to fight them or whatnot. It seems like, well, you went that far just to be shocking. And then you abruptly stopped, and it doesn't seem like it's realistic that he would have actually stopped.
I get the feeling like I don't think he had any intention to actually like rape her. I think he was trying to intimidate her and to get her to break, basically. But
when you have characters like that, do you think they don't strike me as people who will just stop at intimidation, especially when you have figures like that who are dealing with women. The intimidation goes as far as the completion of the rape.
Yeah.
It just seems unrealistic to me.
Maybe that's his redeeming quality then, that he'll push it right to the line, but he won't cross it when it comes to rape. I don't know.
Yeah. So on that disturbing note, did you watch anything else this month?
That's worth talking about? Let me think.
Well, did you start watching... Well, Misfits is back. Did you start watching Misfits yet?
No, I still haven't started watching Misfits because you said it was really bad.
Well, here's the thing. It's not as good as it has been. Compared to other shows, it's fantastic. But it's not as good as it has been, and they've killed off every character.
Even the one guy?
Which guy?
Curtis. He was the one original guy left, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's a spoiler, but whatever you're... Yeah, they kill him.
Oh!
Yeah. And it wouldn't be so bad if the cast was at least half as good as the original cast, but they just aren't.
Well, that's more reason for me not to watch it.
I mean, maybe you'll like it better than I... Because you watched Being Human, right?
Yeah.
Because I was the one that was so upset they changed the cast that I would even watch the latest season, but you did, and I admit it was really good, and I'm glad I finally watched it. So maybe you're more forgiving than I am.
The thing with Being Human, though, was that By the time the third season with the original cast came, it had gotten so far away. The tone of the show was so far removed from what it originally had started as. Like, it had always had sort of a dark side and a light side, and there was always a bit of dark humor and a bit of goofy humor. But overall, the show was fairly light, I think. But by the third season, it was so dark and depressing. Every episode, like, just this heavy, dark cloud. And so I was ready for a change. I was like, I want this to go back to more of the lighthearted tone of the show that was in the first and second season, you know?
Maybe it's because I was one of those people that liked the dark way it was going. I was one of those people that were, blogging about like, oh yeah, it's getting better the more darker it gets.
No, see, it just got too dark for me. Like, everybody was, like, tortured in that show. Like, there was no moments of happiness. It was just dark doom and gloom all the time.
Yeah, but no one got almost raped.
No.
So yeah, it wasn't that dark to me.
And I noticed, like, as the season got darker, Mitchell's hair got more and more, like, oily, greasy, wet looking.
Because he stopped showering. He was depressed. It doesn't matter. He was gorgeous anyway.
Definitely better looking than the vampire in the American version.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
With his permanent duck lips.
I'm building up the courage to watch the when it first started, I gave it a 10-minute shot, and then I just couldn't. I just couldn't. So I'm trying to build up the courage to try to watch it.
I watched, I think, like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I mean, it was okay, but there were definite differences from the British one, and the guy who played the vampire, I just like wanted to smack him every time I saw him. Just something about his face annoys me.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Like just that permanent, like, pouty duck lip face. It's just like, you're gonna smack him and tell him, stop doing that!
I think that's supposed to be like the new hot, though.
I think his lips are just actually like that, but that's a problem.
Well, maybe he has tumors and you shouldn't make fun of him. This is a problem.
A tumor is not going to make you purse your lips constantly.
If they're in your lips.
Whatever.
Yeah, see? He's dying and you're making fun of him. Okay, so the other show that came out, have you seen Peep Show?
I've seen parts of it.
Oh my god, how can you only see parts? How can you see any... How can you see a second show and not watch everything?
I know. I love Mitchell and Webb. I think they're hilarious. And that's a show I've been meaning to watch in full for, like, the longest time. And, like, they used to show it, like, on BBC America, but I would catch it, like, the repeats of it, like, at, 2 or 3 in the morning, and I would always end up falling asleep while it was on, and I think they have it on Hulu for free even, but it's one of those shows that I keep meaning to watch, and I just never get around to it.
Do it today. Today. Oh, it's such a good show. Yeah, so it came back, the first episode aired, and I was like, oh, because, I'm kind of upset about Misfits and all that, and I was like, oh, maybe I should wait and just watch the season all together when it's over. I was like, oh, I'll try it. So I'm watching it, and I'm just, like, laughing till I'm crying. I was like, at least Peep Show stays good. Oh, my God.
God, how many seasons have there been of that now?
Oh, it's like 15. I couldn't even tell you.
But they're, like, really short seasons, right? I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm out of TV shows.
Okay. Miscellaneous?
Yeah, you have anything in miscellaneous?
Well, the concert, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
Let me think. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, I went Black Friday shopping, but that wasn't so bad.
You didn't die, so there's no great stories. Well, do you have anything?
Do you?
Well, there's comics. Nothing really that interesting happened this month in comics. I think the only thing of significance to me personally in comic books is that the second issue of Deadpool that came out, they had letters from, like, fans in the back. And I mean, most people who read comics are male. We get that. That's a statistic for right now, even though that's changing. But a majority of Deadpool fans are also male, even though that also is changing too. But it was interesting that the letters section, they evenly split it between male and female fans. And I thought that was it definitely was purposefully done,
Yeah.
and the questions, they stuck with the genders. Like the boys kind of asked like, "Oh, Deadpool, you're so super sweet and muscly. Like, how did I get all muscly like you?"
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, and the girls, of course, asked things that interested them, like, "Oh my God, I love it when you cross dress. When are you gonna cross dress again?"
That seems like they intentionally tried to stick to what they thought certain genders like about Deadpool. Like the day they put in a question from a guy who's like, "Oh, Deadpool, I love it when you cross dress. When are you gonna do it more?" Then it's like, okay, there's some sort of change happening, but until then, no.
Yeah. I mean I was just happy to see like the first female name, and then I kept reading. I was like, oh, there's a second female name.
Yeah,
So I'll be happy with the diversity, and then hope for a little more range in sexual representation later. But
yeah.
I was also surprised that
I think it'd
you
be
know
hilarious. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but I think it'd be hilarious if like a drag queen wrote into to Deadpool and was like, "Oh, girl, you need to work this color more than that." That would be
that
hilarious. But go
that would
ahead.
be great. You know how Spider-Man had that issue, I think it was a couple years ago, where he meets Obama.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, they had this big issue where Spider-Man meets Obama. He makes like this, appearance in the comic, and they shake hands or whatever. They should do like that in Deadpool, where he meets RuPaul.
That would be so awesome.
I know.
That would
I
be
love.
amazing.
Yeah, I think I would die of a heart attack. So I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, I like that there were, girls represented. Oh, yeah, what I was gonna say is it's been kind of a question of what are the new writers and artists going to do with Deadpool, because this is like a fresh start with new people involved. So I was kind of holding my breath to see if they were going to keep with Deadpool's kind of fluid sexuality and
Hmm.
his being a transvestite and all that. And
Yeah.
he has kind of had some flirtation with guys in the first two issues, nothing too explicit. So I was like, okay. And we got to the question about cross dressing. I thought, okay, this is the moment where they're going to. How they answer this is really going to define how queer friendly they're going to make their Deadpool,
Hmm.
because they could answer it, oh, I just do that for a gag or whatever, or they could really own the fact that he wears women's clothes, not as like a drag queen way, but he wears them as a transvestite sort of way,
Yeah.
where he just wears them. And they answered in such a way where he kind of owned that he was a transvestite, where he's like, yeah, no, I really like wearing women's clothes. In a future issue pretty soon, you'll see a new dress that I have. And so I was really surprised by that.
Yeah. That's. Sorry, I spaced out a little. That's definitely hopeful that the new writers will keep him in the same vein that he's been in before.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. Okay, so do you have a squee of the week?
I do actually.
What is your squee?
Okay, so do you remember a while ago when I sent a link to you for a Korean music video by k.will called Please Don't, with that
Yes,
surprise twist ending?
yes.
Okay. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who may be interested in watching this, so go watch it now and
Well,
come
I'm
back.
assuming whatever you say, you're gonna have to know. Oh, come back. Okay,
Yeah,
go watch it. Come back.
back.
Okay, he was gay.
No! You ruined this. I was going to talk about it. Um, so
Got that out. Got that out.
okay, so going into the video, I knew that it was supposed to have some sort of LGBT twist, but what it was going to be, I didn't know, but I kind of cottoned on fairly quickly as to what I thought it was going to be. I thought, that guy A was jealous of the girl because he liked guy B. But throughout the whole video, I was skeptical. I was like, this is South Korea. They don't have a really good reputation with handling, LGBT stuff. So I was like, yeah, he could still just be jealous of the like the girl instead of the guy. I'm not convinced. This is just
Yeah.
people reading too much into this. And then the ending came where he tore. There was a wedding photo. The girl was in the middle, and guy A was to the left, and guy B was to the right, and guy A tore the photo in half, practically right down the middle of the bride, and then stuck the two halves of the guys together, and he's like in his car crying, and then it pulls out and it shows the groom in the car with him, but it doesn't, I don't know, to me it almost looked like it wasn't really him in the car. It looked like it was sort of this like imaginary, like ghosty version of him.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my actual squee though, there's this trend on YouTube now of people posting K-pop music video reactions where they film themselves watching a K-pop music video for the first time,
Okay.
and then they put up they call it their reaction video. Like people would do reaction videos to like One Girl One Cup. It's like that. It's like that.
No, it's two girls, one cup.
Is
You
it?
don't know the internet at all.
Sorry, Two Girls One Cup. So it's like that. It's like the reaction videos to that, but for K-pop instead of some weird scat porn. So, my squee has been watching people's reaction videos to the k.will video because it is priceless. When it gets to the very end, just the look on people's faces is hilarious.
Are they like surprised in a good way or a bad way?
Mostly, it's a lot of it's confusion. Like, wait a minute, what did I just watch? What happened? Like that. Or some of them, it's in a good way. Like they're shocked, and once they get over the shock, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I never would have expected that from a Korean video. That's like, it seems like it's some sort of progress, stuff like that." Like the only one I saw that was maybe slightly negative, and it's not like it's not like he said, it's a guy. It's not like he said anything that was really negative, but it was just sort of like, "Oh man, I can't believe that. You guys got me." Because I guess like his viewers suggested that he watch the video. So that was it really.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm such a shipper
Uh-huh.
or something. But when I watched the video, like I don't know, the ending wasn't shocking to me because like I kind of like, okay, so it's probably about the dudes. But I mean, also because I stayed up on K-pop so closely for so long, and I've seen of other gay friendly and even gay themed videos before this.
Yeah.
So my initial shock of, oh my god, they're Korean, they're being, open about homosexuality had already come and gone.
See, I can't remember. I don't remember any other videos, any other K-pop videos that had anything remotely gay seeming in them.
Well, I think there's this. It was the k.will is like the first mainstream singer and music video that dealt with men and homosexuality. Because there have been a number of mainstream females
Mm-hmm.
that had music videos that were straight females and had lesbian stories in their music videos. So, it's one of those, we're accepting of female sexuality first because it's less offensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, k.will's kind of the big, okay, well, here's two dudes in love.
Well, one dude in love with a guy who doesn't obviously love back.
Yeah. Okay, so my squee isn't as socially conscious, but it's my squee. Finally, Kresley Cole came out with a new book. This is my big romance novel. She's my big time favorite author, and she came out with
Is
finally.
It rapey?
Hers are extremely everything.
Oh boy.
Hers are really sexually aggressive. They're really violent. The very first line in this book, the heroine, she's getting beat by men, and you're kind of worried what's going to happen there, but it doesn't turn sexual. And they're kicking her, and they sever her spine. And that's
what?
the very first. Yeah, they kick her so hard in the back, they break her back, and she becomes paralyzed.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, these are otherworldly characters, so she gets better later.
Oh, it's like a supernatural thing?
Yeah. Kresley Cole, what I like about her is she takes romance novels and she says, okay, well, if you're going to make guys rapists, then we're going to really make them rapists. And if you're going to put people in danger, we're going to really put them in danger. And if you're going to, hurt people, we're really going to hurt them. In the very first book, like the first scene, the lead man, he, chews his own leg off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, every she does, she cranks the volume to 11. That's why I like her. Because no matter what she does, it's completely outrageous. So I'm so glad to have another book to read now. It's really violent, and this one especially because it's like this battle royale where they have 200 people. They're just fighting until somebody, the one person, comes out with victor. So it's really bloody.
Just if we ever do a book exchange again, promise me you won't give me this one with crazy rape scenes.
I would not give you Chrisley Cole because yeah, hers are when I say intense, I mean it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Okay. WTF.
you go first.
All right. So again, this involves Korean pop music,
Okay.
as well as a guy that I really kind of loathe,
Okay.
Bill O'Reilly.
Uh, oh, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Uh, he had his.
I was in the room and I
Uh,
started going off.
I there's a video of this. I haven't actually watched the video because just reading about it made me so upset. So he had his little reaction to Gangnam Style.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it, so I can actually be part of this conversation.
Yeah. And he brought on Keith Abloh, which I guess is Fox News' resident psychiatrist from what this says.
Yeah.
Or this says that he is a medical professional who resigned in protest from the American Psychiatric Association over a disagreement on what constitutes mental illness. So yeah, great guy to have on as your resident psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So they basically talk about Gangnam Style and they say that it was about nothing and with mostly unintelligible words. It's in another language. That doesn't mean it's not real words. That's infuriatingly racist to say, oh, that's not real words. What is that? And it's like, it's another language. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean they aren't real words.
Yeah.
And apparently he said that Psy is not like Elvis because Elvis had a good voice and his songs had words and he put on a show, whereas Psy is a little fat guy from Pyongyang.
Yes, I was wondering if you're gonna say that. Yeah, that's the part where I started yelling. Like, he didn't explicitly say he was from Pyongyang.
He said like Yangyang or something.
Yeah, he's like, or somewhere, and I just lost it.
Yeah, and then like their hack psychiatrist said that Gangnam Style is wrong to the extent that you use something to transport you away from real thought and deep feeling. So he's basically likening Gangnam Style to like a dangerous drug that someone would use to escape reality, which is ridiculous. And O'Reilly declared Psy to be a fat little guy jumping up and down, and he admitted that there's not really anything wrong with the video since you might lose a few pounds jumping up and down like a pony. But the Ablo, the psychiatrist guy, warned that a video like this might be a problem if people continue watching it in order to distance themselves from reality. O'Reilly agreed that it was not a good idea to watch 7 times a day. Ablo ended by calling it a drug or high. Like, this is a fine example of out of touch old white men trying to understand the internet generation.
Oh yeah, completely. What? Because as someone who watched it and has seen O'Reilly before, because a couple years ago I used to watch O'Reilly every day, but that's when I had a better handle on my temper.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I watched him because I agreed with him. I watched him expressly because I disagreed with him.
Yeah.
So I would watch and get mad, and I would bug everyone who came in contact with me. You can't believe what this jackass said.
I can't even. I don't even bother to watch him because I would lose it.
I can't anymore. Yeah, it got to a point where I realized that I'm just mad all the time, and it's because I'm watching Bill O'Reilly. So stop doing that. But yeah, this is a common narrative of something he does where he says this whole internet is completely useless and what people do on there is just dumb and they waste their time and it's just idiots and perverts on the internet. Like, he's completely out of touch. So that was kind of like his thoughts going into it, but also their discussion of it was how it wasn't good and it wasn't art because it wasn't talking about, it was just a song about nothing and didn't have any societal value. And I thought that.
But it does. The entire thing is like a satire and parody of people from the Gangnam district who are really wealthy, but they take themselves too seriously and try to put on this air of importance when they're not. That's the whole point of the song.
Yeah, but it became clear that they, like, when they were talking, like, you intellectually know that they can't understand it because it's in a different language. But if you didn't intellectually know that, you would think, so do these guys think he just made up words? Because they said, well, it's just, you can't understand it, it's not about anything. Just because you don't understand the language doesn't mean it's not about anything.
Yeah.
You know?
It would have been one thing if they just got on there and said, I don't understand why this is popular, it's stupid to me, fine. but to add in the whole thing about how it's about nothing, it's unintelligible, that's racist, plain and
Yeah.
simple.
It it definitely is. And it's like you want to be taken seriously. This is supposed to be a this isn't it's not a news program. I'll give you that. You're not reporting news. It's news commentary.
Yeah.
And you're going to report on this foreign video and this foreign song and not even bother to look up what it's about or to get a translation or to get someone who can tell you what the song's about. Just because you see a guy jumping around and there's horses in the background, you assume it's about nothing.
I think a big part of it is like a lot of the pundit shows on Fox News. A lot of it is fear mongering, and so they have to find a way to twist this into something that seems bizarre and possibly scary to older people who may not have heard the song, may not have heard the video, have no idea what it's about. And the fact that he's dropping a name, he didn't actually say Pyongyang, but he said a name that sounded close enough to it that people obviously thought he was saying Pyongyang.
Well, he said Pyongyang.
Yeah. So,
I know what he meant.
yeah. So, I mean, it just seems to me that he's trying to drum up this to make people scared to think that, because you know his demographic's old people. I mean, it made me think that he's trying to basically make them think that young people are somehow being de-Americanized by
Yeah.
this funny little Asian guy from North Korea, which, you know?
Yeah. But he could have actually explained what the song was about and then still made it fear mongering because he could have, because it's typical Fox News, like, oh look, he's talking about how bad the rich are. It's another
Yeah.
demonizing of the rich. I mean, he could have literally demonized the song with their own rhetoric, and he just didn't. He was like, well,
He went the lazy route.
yeah, it's easier just to go with xenophobia because if you see an Asian guy, let's just make fun of the fact that he's Asian.
Yeah.
Okay, so my what the fuck of the week. I'm sure you saw it. I have a blog on Tumblr, Spidey Poolverse, where I talk about mostly Deadpool. I got up, what was it, like 2 days ago, and I'm going through the tags like Deadpool and Spidey Pool, and I'm looking for new stuff to put on the blog, and I see this one girl just getting lambasted by guys, fanboys, sometimes anonymous, sometimes not, just telling her she's sick for making Deadpool gay, and he's not gay, and they're complaining about, like, I'm tired of
I
women.
didn't see this.
Oh, you didn't? It was this huge argument all day
No, I
long.
want to see this.
You gotta go back and look because it was a whole thing.
Okay.
So it was the day after the big, oh no, I posted porn and people got mad.
Well, no, I saw that. How did I miss this?
Oh, sure. You saw that. Yeah, so they told her, I mean, they were saying things like, I'm tired of women in the Deadpool tag. It's disgusting. And they were just saying homophobic things and, sexist things and aggressive things where, of course it made me mad. So I wrote this little essay and I posted up on that blog and I made sure it was in the Deadpool tag where, I said, it's over. We're tired of it. You guys, you just have to get over the fact that girls are in this fandom. And you can't say that we don't belong here in this tag. It's Tumblr. If anyone doesn't belong here,
them.
it's heterosexual, white, cisgendered male men.
Yes, male men.
You guys, yeah. And there's nothing here for you. You don't belong in this tag. I don't know why you're here. And of course I went down the line of, okay, well we know for a fact that Deadpool isn't straight. He's not, he's not heterosexual. We know that. It's canon. It's in the books. We know that he's a transvestite. It's in the books. And a lot of things they argue about is him being raped. And I said, look, we know for a fact he was raped and raped by a woman because a lot of them say you can't be raped by a woman, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I said, look, it happened. It happened. You can like this character and deny those things, but you can't do them and expect to get away with it publicly because it's just not true. And you need to just get over the fact that women are in this fandom and we do what we do. We're just going to continue to do that. So I got some feedback from it, some really good feedback. I got some messages sent in, and this one girl wrote in and said, it's weird that you post about this today because I just went to the comic book store, and in comic book stores, you can do this thing where you tell them your name and what comics you want, and they'll put them...
I saw that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll put them behind the desk because they come out like every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So instead of you having to go in every day on comic book day, new comic book day, and get there before everyone else, they'll just put them aside for you. So that's what's supposed to happen. So she goes in on Saturday and asks for her comics, and they told her, "Oh, we don't have them. We saw your request, but it was a girl's name, so we figured you wouldn't be back, so we sold your comics."
I would have been infuriated. I would have been like, oh no, ooh. I,
Yeah.
I would have had to resist the urge to slap the guy behind the counter, and then I would have demanded my money back and say I'm taking my business elsewhere.
But it's weird because on one hand, like, it doesn't surprise me that that happened, but it surprises me that he just admitted it,
Yeah,
you know? Because you know that stuff goes on in our community because it is so
yeah,
sexist, our geeky community. But for him to just say, for just to admit it, like, part of it, it's like, how dare he say that? But also, it's like, well, we know this stuff goes on, so why wouldn't he just say that? Why wouldn't he just say, yeah, that's just what we do with girls? Because then I started thinking of my own experiences, and I realized a big comic book store in our
uh-huh,
area, my friend and I started going to them because our local one shut down, and it was a little one. It was the one we went to when we were kids,
yeah.
and we weren't allowed in certain parts of it. So we were older now, we're girls. We've gone to this new one, this bigger one, for years and years and years. And a couple years ago, finally we were just like, okay, well, can we just put our name on a wait list for these comics so we could pick them up every Saturday, like this girl tried to do? And the guy was like, oh yeah, sure. So he took it down. And when we went in, they said, oh yeah, we don't have a tag with your name on it.
What?
So we thought, okay, that's weird. I know we did it. Okay, maybe he just lost it. So we did it again, and we went in next time, and they're like, yeah, we don't have it. We did it 3 times before we just gave up, and I just took it at the time that, okay, well, they're idiots. They just don't know what they're doing. This guy doesn't care about his job, whatever. And then I read what this girl says, and I'm thinking back, and I think, I know that they do this regularly. It's something they do in comic book stores. I bet that they just thought it was a girl's name and just throw it away. Even though,
You should have done an experiment and go in yourself, but give them a guy's name and like tell them, oh, it's for my little brother or something, and then see if they actually kept the comic books.
but here's the thing though, they know me. A lot of those guys, and they know me so well, they know I don't have a brother, and
Oh,
they know my name, they know what I buy.
that's so weird. Why would they do? If they actually know you and you're a regular, why would they do that?
Yeah, but they did it to me and my girlfriend.
That's so weird.
Yeah, so it occurred to me, oh my God, I think that's what was going on. So I told her what had happened, what this girl said, and then me thinking back to it. And she just kind of says, oh yeah, I figured that. And I said, you thought that at the time? And she said, yeah, I just figured that's what was going on, so what are you gonna do? And I was just kind of like shocked.
Wow.
Because if I had realized it at the time, I would have freaked out. So, anything else to share for this month?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, well, until month after next, maybe.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. That only took us 15 hours.